Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Sunday morning musings on Coturnix Corner. Glad y'all could join us. Um, Today is going to be a little bit of a short one because I do have to take off here pretty soon, but I'll go ahead and stick around as long as I possibly can. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. We did. It was very enjoyable. Let's see what else. We did a live stream on the Christmas Eve. If you didn't get a chance to see that one, check it out. It's on the channel. Probably listed right before this one. But yeah, it was a good live stream. We had a bunch of guests come on the show, and we had a really good time, taking questions and talking quail and pretty much talking about everything. But it was a really neat live stream. So if you guys didn't get to see that one, check it out. If you noticed at the beginning of this one, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, the opener is a little bit different than it was, I don't know, a month or so ago or a few weeks ago. So what I'm trying to do is update it to bring in more of the current guests that we've had on the show, just to kind of make it, a little more up to date. So that'll be the one that we're running for 2025. Like I say, I'll keep updating it, as we go throughout the year. Let's see. Shout out to our sponsors. Gopher Ridge Quail Farm. HP Murray always donates eggs every week for us to give away to one lucky winner on the channel. And Hatching Time gives us a $50 gift certificate to give away to you guys to use on their website. So I appreciate both of them. They really help us out here. And it's really nice to be able to do the giveaways. Today we're going to be announcing the winner of the Coturnix Kids project for next month, because probably I won't be going live on Tuesday of next month, the first Tuesday of next month anyhow, to announce it there. So we're going to go ahead and announce the winner on today's live, or this morning's live. The winner is going to be getting a bunch of prizes to help get them started in their quail journey. A Wholesome Harvest supplies a 40-pound bag of feed. Southern Biophiliac and Big Spring Quail donate hatching eggs. Bryant's Roost gives us an incubator for the kids to get started with. Pips and Chicks and Champions Blend supply a gift certificate for Tractor Supply for them to pick up any supplies that they might need over there. And then again, Hatching Time supplies a 2-unit layer cage to get the kids, to give them something to get started with when they first hatch out their eggs. So I guess we can go ahead and bring up next month's winner. I should say this month's winner, but this month's winner, the kid's name is Chance. And our judges selected him. And I was reading, I normally don't get to see these write-ups until after the judges select them. And this one was really interesting, I thought. It says, "Hi, I'm Chance. I'm 9 years old. We have a goat named Weasel. We were getting up all night checking on her for when she has her baby. After 3 nights of checking on her, she needed help. The baby's head was tucked down like its chin was against its body, and we were trying to pull it up so it can get out. We worked for 3 hours. Mommy was having trouble getting it pushed back out of the pelvis so Mommy could get a rope around it and pull it out. Mommy asked if I could help. I was creeped out, but Mommy talked me through it. I was able to get it pushed back far enough to get the rope around it to help pull it out. I'm happy that I was able to help and get it out." Chance, that's amazing. For someone of your age that can basically do veterinarian skills to be able to do something like that, it's going to go a long way in that as far as working with animal husbandry. So congratulations, Chance. Like I said, you're going to be getting a whole bunch of prizes in the mail. They should be showing up sometime this week and next week. Your mom's already given me the information, your shipping information. So keep an eye on your mailbox and keep an eye out for UPS and whoever brings all that stuff. And we will like I say, get you started on your quail journey. So Chance, thanks again for your write-up and congratulations on doing a great job of helping out Weasel. So very good. I really appreciate it. Okay, I see we got a few people over in the house, over in the chat room. So let's go ahead and jump over there. If anybody's got any comments or questions, go ahead and post them in the chat room. Or if you just want to say hi or good morning, that's fine too. Early bird Andy Rabbit's in the house. Says good morning. Glad you could join us, Andy. All Clean Exteriors LLC says good morning. Woodtick's in the house. Says good morning, everyone. Oh, wow. Paula Davis says, hi, all from England, UK. Glad you could join us, Paula. Says, good morning. It's afternoon there, 2 p.m. Yeah, that's so cool. I love it when we see people from across the pond joining us on our live streams. Orlando says, morning from New York. Kim M's in the house. Says, good morning. Hannah Bishop's in the house. Says, good morning. Glad you could join us again, Hannah. Woodchick says, my first hatch is at 50% still going. I couldn't be happier right now. Congratulations. Good job on the hatch. And hopefully you'll get, a few more and bump that hatch rate up a little bit higher. Aaron's in the house. Good Ross Family Farm says, good morning. Glad you could join us, Aaron. And thanks for coming on the live stream last week. That was very enjoyable. Daniel says, good morning from stormy South Georgia. Georgia. Yeah, we got rain here. It rained all night long. It was raining this morning. I don't know if it's still raining out or not, but yeah, we're getting it. It looks like we're going to have rain for a couple of days. So, but that's fine. We need it. Kurt's in the house. Says good morning. Glad you could join us, Kurt. Tater Farm says, good morning, all. Tuesday's live stream was awesome. Enjoyed your panel. Yeah, it was a great live. And I love doing stuff like that where we've got multiple guests coming on the show because, that way we get a lot of different opinions when people, present questions to them. And yeah, it was really interesting. Promised Land Homestead says, good morning. Tater Farm says, thank you to all the sponsors. Absolutely. Good Ross Family Farm says, congrats, Chance. Wow, he's going to be a serious farmer. Absolutely. It's unbelievable that a 9-year-old, could have just the ability to do something like that. I mean, most 9-year-olds would freak out and say, I'm not touching that. So that was very good, Chance. Anna Bishop says, congrats, Hans. Gopher's Quails in the house. Is GRQ's in the house, morning off from, guess what, rainy Georgia. Yeah. Yeah, HP, somebody commented GRQ on the last live stream, and everybody kind of made a deal out of it. So I guess you're officially known as GRQ. Andy Rabbit says, congratulations. Don Skins in the house says, good morning from South Mississippi. Woodtick says, congrats, Chance. Great job. Absolutely. Paula Davis says, well done, Chance. Gopher Ridge says, congratulations. Cogolian says, morning. Glad you could join us. Tater Farm says, congratulations, Chance. Absolutely. John says, good morning from rainy Southwest Florida. God, it seems like it's raining everywhere. I mean, we need the rain. People are going to laugh at me, but I've got dandelions that I've spread seeds throughout my entire yard. And they haven't started coming up yet. I spread them, I don't know, maybe 2 months or so ago, but we haven't had enough rain to get them to sprout. So I'm hoping that by springtime, I've got a few dandelions out there for the bees. Robert says, good morning. Glad you could join us, Robert. Dan says, good morning from Fremont, Wisconsin. Glad you could join us, Dan. Carson's Aquarium says, morning. That's a cool little looking thumbnail there, or a profile icon. See, Joy says, good morning from Western Oregon. Glad you could join us, Joy. Paula Davis says, what is the best temperature and humidity gauge to put in the incubator for hatching eggs? There's a couple different ones. The one that I use is a ThermPro. They're available on Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive, but I found out that of all the ThermPros that I've got, out of the box, they're pretty much very accurate within each other. You know, like they all read close to the same temperature and close to the same humidity. Yeah, I've been really happy with the ThermPros. I've been using them for about 3 or 4 years now and never had an issue with them. Some people like the Govies. I'm not a big fan of Govies. And the reason for that is I've purchased a few Govies before to do a thermometer / hydrometer comparison video, and the Govies weren't even close to the ThermPros as far as accuracy. I know that you can, you know, calibrate them and whatnot. I just didn't have any luck with them. So, you know, I don't want to point somebody towards something that's, you know, if it hasn't worked out good for me, I don't want to point them in that direction. Put it that way. Here's another one. Carson's Aquarium says rainy here in Western Pennsylvania. Cool. Everybody's getting rain this morning. Carson's Aquarium says, thank you. Just updated my logo. Okay, cool. Andy Rabbit says, I don't think it's raining here this morning. Might be raining later today. And Andy Rabbit says, Texas, I believe. Paula says, in the new year, going to hatch eggs for the first time. Paula, read up on as much as you can. There's a lot of good information out there. There's a lot of stuff on my channel. There's just do a search on YouTube. There's a ton of stuff out there. And a lot of it's, you know, really good information. So. Robert Henderson says, what are the best solar powered lights that I can put in my 12 pens? I do not have electricity that far out in my yard. I don't know that I would go with the individual solar powered lights. One, because I don't know exactly how long they last. You know, I mean, I know I've seen people do that. They've taken lights that you would put out in like a yard or a garden, and they charge up during the day and then, you know, discharge at night when they come on. But the way I had mine set up was I had a 5-watt solar panel and a little battery, very similar to this one. And what I did was wired the solar panel into the battery and then also into all my lights with a timer on it. And it worked really well. It lasted 2.5 years before I took it down. And it was still working when I took it down. The only reason I moved the aviary to get it, to make a bee yard for my bees. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on, you said you're running 12 cages. You know, if you want to spend the money for those little yard lights, you can, but I think it would actually be cheaper to find a, you know, a $20 solar panel from Northern or Harbor Freight, and then just wire that up to some light, or to a battery, and then to some lights. But yeah, the fact that you're going solar though is good, especially, you know, obviously you don't have power out there, but the solar would be nice. If you had a big enough battery bank, you could actually put an inverter out there, a small inverter, and have power out there for, you know, whatever other things that you might want to be doing out there. Andy Rabbit says, I'm in Missouri. My dad's in Texas. Okay, that makes sense. Homestead Matter says, happy last Saturday of 24. I hope everyone's doing well and ready for 2025. I think today is Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. At least it better be. But yeah, it is anyhow the last live stream for 2025 or 2024 for us. But we've got a lot planned for next year. So I lost my place here. Okay, Gator's Family Farm says, I've used Govee for years, but I've been switching to ThermPro because of the accuracy. 0.5 degree Fahrenheit can be the difference between a bad hatch and a great hatch. Yeah, actually, I agree 100%, Aaron, on that. I don't want to, say bad things about Govee because I know there's a lot of people that use them. But from my experience, I've seen, 3 and 4, 5 degree temperature differences. And that's a big difference. I think the fact that the Govees can be calibrated, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they can be accessed from like your phone. I think you can access it from wherever you're at and see what's going on with it. So, but if they were a little more accurate and more dependable as far as accuracy, I would definitely recommend them. Brian says, good morning from Alabama. Sweet home, Alabama. Carson's Aquarium says, hatching my first dozen eggs for my adult quail. I'm on day 12, so I'm close. So excited. Yeah, it's always a good feeling when you put eggs into lockdown and hear those chicks peeping. Maury Straubel's in the house. Says, good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Maury. I just got a text from your wife. Andrew Abbott says, I'm going to have to replay that. Oh, the live stream. Yeah, it was. If you're talking about last week's live stream, it was excellent. Good morning from Edgewater, Florida. It's Mike Garris. Glad you could join us, Mike. Promised Land Homestead says, we are doing an aviary this year. Any suggestions on plants to put in them? I tried plants the first time I had the aviary set up. I thought it would, make it look a little more natural. I didn't really have very, very good luck with it as far as the plants went. The birds were just tearing everything up. So what I did, I went with not artificial plants, but like tree branches, logs that got holes in them, so they can run and hide in there. As far as what type of plants, what did I have in there? I had, I can't think what they call. Oh, spider plants, big, huge spider plants. They kind of tore that thing to pieces. Philodendrons I had in there. They didn't do very well. On the outside of the aviary, I had morning glories. I know that the seeds are toxic to birds or quail, but I never had a problem with them. The nice thing about the morning glories climbing up the side of the aviary was it provided shade, in the morning when the sun was coming up. So, yeah, I don't know. I would definitely do some more research or maybe talk to somebody that's got a bigger aviary setup than I had. My biggest thing is to find stuff that they could hide in, like an old Christmas tree. If you take down a Christmas tree, set that in there. They would love that. Perfect for, running under and hiding. I think actually we did that one year. Robert says, I've looked and done a little research on running solar panel with a timer, but there's not a lot of research that basically tells you how to wire everything together. It's really simple. I mean, you got positive and negative. Just match them up. As far as on a small solar panel, for a 5-watt solar panel and say a 6 or 10 amp hour battery, you don't even need a charge controller because you're not going to push enough amperage into that battery to even get it warm. So you can run direct from the solar panel to the battery and then from the battery to your timer, which would be, again, just positive and negative. And then from your timer, my timer actually had plugs on the side where I could plug into it. So what I did was I plugged one extension cord into the timer, and then it had a splitter on it that split off into like 3 or 4 different outlets that I could plug into. And no, it worked out fine. Paula Davis says, I've got 8 Celadon quail and 6 Favorole chicken. Order snowflake bob white eggs I'm waiting for. Cool. I don't know what a Favorole chicken is. I do know what the snowflake bob whites are, but cool. Congratulations. Dragon Girl's in the house this morning from the Pacific Northwest. Paula Davis says it's foggy and damp here. Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, everyone have a really good New Year. we got a lot planned for it. We're going to be setting up guest appearances on the regular Tuesday live streams. Just a lot of stuff that I've got planned for the channel. I got to get some content going. I'm actually getting my quail to where they're getting to a point where I can actually start working up some videos on them again. I think I've covered pretty much every subject, but I would like to be able to put some more videos out there. Uh-oh, I lost my spot again. .340 Quail Farms in the house says, good morning, everyone. Carson Squarium says, I use a 2-in-1 digital reptile humidity and temperature gauge. Okay. Oh, he gets them from PetSmart, only about $10. The only thing that I would do, I mean, I'm very cautious when it comes to using a different thermometer / hygrometer from what I've originally had. I always test them against the ones that I do have, because the ones that I have, the Therm Pros, I know are accurate. So if I try anything new, I always compare them just to make sure that they're within the, like Aaron says, within a half a degree, because it can affect your hatch. Excuse me. But yeah, just always make sure if it has a calibration on it, either calibrate it or just compare it to a known good thermometer. Paula Dave says, can you have tall grasses? I would imagine you can, if you can get them to grow. I don't know if you want to do it potted or not, but yeah, I don't see why not. Like I said, my birds were more interested in tearing the plants apart. They were, picking at it and shredding them and whatnot. So let me know if you come up with something that works decent, because it is kind of nice to have plants in the aviary. Kind of makes it look a little more natural, I guess. Andy Rabbit says, I use a kangaroo device. It's a thing you would use for a basement watch for moisture and temperature. I had it. I just keep using it. Replay the part about the light you just talked about. Replay the part about the light you just talked about. You lost me, Andy. I don't know what you mean by replay the part of the light I just talked about. Andy, if you could explain that a little bit better, maybe I can help you out a little there. I don't know. Fred says, good morning, Terry. Good morning, Fred. Glad you could join us. Promised Land Homestead said eggs. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that, guys. If you're interested in getting some hatching eggs from H.P. Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail, comment Gopher Ridge in the chat room. Or if you could use a $50 gift certificate, comment hatching time, and we'll put you in the running for the giveaways. I got a scratchy throat this morning for some reason. Blazing Gale says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, or hey, Gopher Ridge Quail is here. LOL. I'm glad I made that abbreviation. LOL. Or haha. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, GRQ, I think, is going to stick, whether HP wants it to or not. Bill says, good morning and happy new year to y'all and your viewers from Bent Cypress Homestead. Money grass, Liriope grows well in my aviaries. Okay, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to have to look it up. Like I say, I tried doing the potted plant thing, and it worked, but I find that the quail just like to hide. So that's why I went with, a bunch of branches and stuff piled on top of each other. I kind of made like a brush pile, and they crawl it, underneath it and whatnot. Especially if you've got a lot of birds in there or a lot of roosters in there that want to breed with the hens. That gives them hens, some place to get away from the roosters and whatnot. Okay, we've got a bunch of people commenting, Gopher Ridge and hatching time. Homesteads Matters says, question, have you considered a new round of show off your setup for the smaller backyard setups. Seeing Maury and Allie have some cool setups. Curious what other snazzy modification folks have. You know, that's a really good idea. I know when I was up in Michigan and we were doing the live stream with Maury, we talked about kind of doing road trips, you know, going around to different farms and whatnot, and kind of documenting their setups and sharing it with everybody on the channel. Let me put some more thought into that, because I really haven't thought much about that since I left Michigan. But yeah, maybe we can, because I've got a few people local to me that I could easily take a ride up to or over to and, you know, document their stuff. The biggest thing would be, you know, whether or not they would want me to do that. But a lot of people, they like showing off, you know, their stuff and want to come on the show and whatnot. So yeah, let me look into that. That's a good idea. Thanks for reminding me about that. Andrew Rabbit said, you said something about hooking up a light to something and used it till you took the aviary down. I was talking to the hubby and didn't hear it. Okay. Basically 5-watt solar panel wired up to a small battery. You don't need one this big. This is 10 amp hour. I use this for my ham radio stuff. A 6 amp hour would be more than enough to run some small lights. And then from the battery, you want to wire that to your timer, if you're going to use a timer. And then from the timer, that's where you'll plug your lights into. So, yeah, to me, that's the easiest way to do it. I mean, really the simplest way to do it, but it's going to cost you a little more money, is to go to Home Depot and buy some of those little solar panel sidewalk lights or garden lights, whatever they call them, and just put a few of those in your aviary. They'll come on when it gets dark, but they're going to stay on until either the battery runs low or until the light comes on, you know, daylight comes up and turns the lights off. So I don't know if that would be too much light for your birds or not. Trying to think what else would work good. My neighbor's got a bunch of motion sensor lights in his backyard. And I swear my quail, because he's got dogs and they're constantly running around and triggering those lights to come on. So I'm wondering if my quail are almost getting enough light just from that. They haven't started laying yet, but you know, you would think that you would be able to come up with something. I don't know how well a motion light would work in an aviary like that. Now, the solar panel, the solar powered lights would probably be your best bet if you don't care, you know, how long the lights are on. Let's see. Bill says monkey grass. Okay, that's another one I haven't heard of. Fred says I use oats that have sprouted. Okay, you'd think that they would eat those. Cargolian says, I'm eyeing switching to an aviary, but I don't like bending over to pick up eggs. Yeah, it can be tricky. Not tricky. Biggest part is finding the eggs before you step on them. What I did, I took this from Chris Carnes over at Slightly Redneck. I put a big tray in there. I built a tray out of 2x4s, so it was 3.5 inches high, and then it had a plywood bottom on it. And I just filled that up with play sand. And sure enough, the birds almost every time laid their eggs in that sand. You know, Chris says that's what he does on his cages. And he says almost every bird that lays them in the sandbox. I don't know. It worked for me. If that's something you want to try, that will at least your eggs will all be in one spot. Paulo says Favoroli's are French chickens. They are good with the cold, love to win eggs, but too far for you to send. Do you know of anyone who sent eggs from the USA? Not over to the UK. I mean, I know you can get them over there. Michael Rose would have been able to ship to you from Southwest Game Birds, but he has closed his operation down temporarily. I don't think that Thieving Otter Farm is shipping out of the country other than to Canada. The last I heard, she was shipping to Canada. Yeah, that's a good one. Let me look into that and see if anybody else is shipping out of the country legally. I mean, I know there's a few that decided they wanted to send them out illegally. And he says, I get solar rope lights from Harbor Freight on 2 cages. They seem to have worked good this season. Okay. Yeah, that's an idea. I've never seen them. I'm going to have to go check that out. David says, about 2 months into our quail program, we have about 100 unsexed between 6 and 8 weeks. We'll be raising offspring to produce meat for our Savannah cat food. Cool. Interesting. That's pretty good. 2 months into your program, already got 100 birds. 340 Quail Farm says, questions. I want to add small heater bulbs to my stacked brooder setup. The Inkbird temp controller work or something like that. It has 4 sections. Yeah, the only thing is the Inkbird only has 1 sensor probe. So you're going to have to put that sensor probe, you're going to have to position it so it's going to bring the temperature up in all 4 units or in all 4 sections to the same temperature. You know what I mean? Unless you've got, if the bulbs are evenly spaced, then yeah, that could work. I'm trying to picture a stacked brooder setup. Yeah, I mean, the Inkbird definitely will work for it. It will, you know, come up to it, bring it up to a certain temperature, and then shut the lights off. I would just play with the sensor probe a little bit and make sure that it's positioned so that you've got the same temperature throughout. Raymond says, so far I haven't had issues with my birds here in Texas. We'll be in the 20 next week, going to see what happens. 20s isn't really that, you know, it's not cold enough to affect your birds unless they're too young or in the direct weather. As long as you can keep them, you know, out of the wind and the rain and the snow, if you're getting snow, they should do just fine. I mean, I know people up in Canada that are keeping their birds in below freeze, below zero, and they're doing just fine. Tater Farm says, we built a 3-tier setup and have stainless steel pans with sand inside. My quail only lay in their sand pans. Okay, there you go. That's another person that says that that's working. It did work for me. I mean, I'll say 95% of my birds laid their eggs, you know, in the sand tray. The ones that didn't, I usually ended up stepping on and crushing them. But Twisted Garrett's Farms in the house says, morning. Glad you could join us. 340 Quail Farm says it's using the common 4-tier shelf like from Walmart, Lowe's. Okay. Yeah, like I say, just, you know, maybe put some thermometers in there. That way you can monitor the temps in each one of the different levels or each one of the different tiers. Like I say, the trick is going to be to get that sensor probe in the air in an area, because wherever that sensor probe is, that's going to be what the temperature is for that area. But I mean, if you position the lights correctly, even on each different level, if they're identical levels, technically they should have, you know, they should be the same temperature, especially if everything's identical, you know, the cages or the enclosures. Promised Land Homestead says, we are wanting to do some small solar lights to help the quail lay better during the darker days. Ours did not lay well towards the end of fall and winter last year. Yeah, that's totally normal for them to go off lay when the daylight hours get shorter. My birds out in the aviary now haven't started laying yet. I put them out there when they were 3 weeks old, I believe, and they're pushing 4 months now. They've got to be 4 months old anyhow. But no, they haven't started laying, and I don't expect them to, because I haven't given them supplemental lighting. I probably will start bumping the daylight hours up maybe towards the end of January, just to get them laying a little bit earlier, so I don't have to wait until, you know, early spring. Paulo Davis says, I watched one of your videos about giving warm water to baby chicks. How do you keep it warm? When I when I fill up their little water container, I use the little quart containers with the small basin on it. I put warm water in there. I mean, it's pretty warm. I won't say almost hot, but it's warm. And when I put that in the brooder, I put it close enough to the heat source or my heat lamp that the heat lamp helps keep that water warm. And I only do that usually for the first day or two. The only reason you want to give them warm water on day one is because if you give them cold water, it can shock their system, cause them to get chilled. And once chicks get chilled, a lot of times you'll end up losing them. So yeah, I always start them out on day one with warm water. But I do keep the water close enough to the heat source, the clamp lamp, and that usually keeps it, 80, 90 degrees, somewhere in that range. Child of God says, I have a sand area, but still lays eggs wherever it wants. Easter egg hunt. Yeah, I know the feeling. Homestead Matter says, talking to 340, I have my brooders on the same setup. I keep some insulation on the floor. It helps keep the 4 levels similar temps. Otherwise, the bottom one's a few degrees colder, closer to 6 degrees in the winter. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was wondering, is if you were going to have an issue at different levels with the temp. Like Homestead Matter says, if you can insulate the ones that are a little bit cooler, and then the ones that are up higher, because you got to remember, if they're stacked, all that heat from them bulbs is going to rise up. So that the top unit may be, a lot warmer than, say, the bottom unit. So I would definitely make sure that my sensor probe was where the hottest point's going to be. You don't want it to get too hot. So yeah, play with it. Put thermometers in each one of the units and monitor, how high the temperature is coming up and whatnot. So you just don't want to cook your birds, obviously. Gargillian says, just saw my area of Texas, chance of getting snow next Tuesday. Wonderful. Snow in Texas is always crazy. Promised Land Homestead says, we don't like keeping a bunch of animals through the winter, but I'd like to keep a few quail if I can keep them laying. Yeah, you can keep them laying. It's just a matter of keeping the light on them, keeping them daylight hours between 14 and 16 hours of daylight. They should continue laying throughout. My quail, when I had them indoors, they were on 16 hours round the clock, 365 days a year, and they laid year round. So. Mark says, hi, Terry. Great show, great information. My wife puts a metal pan filled with Timothy hay, and 95% of the eggs are laid in the hay. There you go. There's another one. All right, guys, we are down to the bottom of the list. So let me go up before I get too far into this and grab a couple people for the giveaways. If I call your name, guys, on the giveaways, you need to email me your shipping information. I need obviously a good address, good email, and a good phone number, especially for the hatching eggs, because sometimes HP needs to get a hold of you to find out when you want your eggs shipped and if you want them held at the post office, stuff like that. Let's see here. And also, if you use a name here on YouTube that's not the same as your name, make sure you include that in the email so I can know who I'm supposed to send this stuff to. Or let's see, where are we at? Okay, here we go. Corgolian says, yeah, I have 2 hens inside right now, and they're laying 1, sometimes 2 a day, which is awesome. Absolutely. Yeah, it's always nice when your bird's laying. I'm going to put my email address in there, guys. This is for the people that win. All right, winners. Real quick, $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. It's going to go to Aaron over at Gidraw's Family Farm. Aaron, I basically just need a good email from you. And let's see, Mike Garris, you're going to get a 30 count of Gopher Ridge hatching eggs. So Mike, send me your shipping information, good address, good phone number, and I'll get that over to HP. And if you want to include in your email when you want him to ship, like if you'd rather him wait till after the first of the year, or if it's okay to ship right away, let me know, because HP will contact you and find out when you want it to go out. All right, let's see. We'll run through these real quick, and then I got to go. Andy says, I kept my quail laying in freezing temps in the past winters. Very cool. Aaron says, great live. See you next year, Terry. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us again, Aaron. Raymond says, I had a dang good egg count Friday, 40 hens and 40 eggs. You can't beat that. Blaze and Gale says, Happy New Year, everyone. Have a fun, safe holiday. Congrats to the winner. Here is my email address for the winners. Tater Farm says, Happy New Year, everyone. Andy Rabbit says, Happy New Year and have a happy and safe year. Homestead Matters says, at Raymond, wow, that's awesome. Wesley says, good morning, folks. Glad you could join us. Glenn Dempsey says, thank you for good, clean content. That's always helpful. Absolutely. Got to keep it clean. Promised Land says, congrats, everyone. And Hannah Bishop says, have a happy new year, everyone. Absolutely, guys. Have a great new year. Be careful if you're going out, designated driver if you need one, that kind of stuff. So, guys, I want to thank everyone for joining us. I really enjoyed it. I will post in either the Facebook group page or the Coturnix Corner page when the next live will be. Like I said, for Tuesday nights, I'm going to try to schedule some guests, maybe multiple guests, because I really had a good time, last week. So, all right, guys, I'm going to pull the plug on this one. Again, have a very happy new year, and thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you on the next one.